Groove City.
Yo, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furniss, and welcome to another episode of Groove City.
That's right. Today we are excited to welcome some local Brooklynites, Manhattanites, New Yorkers born and raised. They promote, they produce, they do all sorts of different things in DJ culture right here in New York City. We're excited to welcome Daniel Lerman and Aries Carter, also together as Those Nights Events.
What up?
Welcome. A lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us. How you guys been?
Been good. Super. It's been really busy.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff on the horizon.
Yeah.
Just full steam ahead.
Yeah, coming off a really big New York event, one of many, first rooftop party of the season. Then we're going to this Friday.
Rooftop season, baby.
Yeah, it's starting.
Crazy.
It's getting hot out there.
Do me a favor, Richard. Just get a little bit closer to your
Yeah.
mic there. You can pull it closer towards you.
And
if
then
that's easier.
this Friday is a really special one because it's our first outside the city event in Miami.
Oh, nice.
So now
So for those of you who don't know, Those Nights is an events promotion company here in New York.
How would you guys explain those nights?
Yeah.
We are a party series and record label. We're taking the New York sound and we're putting a modern kind of twist on it.
How did those nights first kind of become?
Well, I mean, Those Nights started out as like a release concept for a track that I put out that got a bunch of DJ support. But I mean, the concept behind it's a lot older than just a track that I put out. Richard and I came up in the city together. We met at an Avicii concert, actually.
How old were you guys?
I was 15 at the time, probably.
Yeah, 14, 15, I would say. And right around then, we both started DJing in New York City. We came up with Pasha doing their U18 events.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think in the back of our head, we've always wanted to kind of do something together. So, I mean, when I launched this as like a release party concept last year, I think Richard saw what was happening, and we just decided to kind of combine forces and do this properly.
Yeah, I feel like you guys kind of joined in forces already from the start of it, pretty much, but now it's kind of more official.
Yeah, I think so much of life and just things, it's about just timing.
Yeah.
You can't force stuff in life, you know?
100% it.
Let's back it up a little bit because you're both born and raised here in New York City. And what made you guys start getting into Pasha and all that as
Was the
youngsters?
Avicii concert like a milestone? Was that
Yeah, were you always
So-
into dance?
so,
Were there other genres? Were you into like rock and pop?
Oh, it's funny. I started out as an actor, as a little childhood actor.
Really?
Yeah, I was in
Anything
Sesame
you
Street a
would
few
know?
times.
Sesame Street.
Yeah. Jack's Big Jump. You got to check it out. It's on Hulu.
Nice.
Come on now.
Rest in peace,
Rest
Sesame
in
Street.
peace. But I was one of the Sesame Street children. I had an agent. I went to an acting school and everything.
Really?
And, you know, when I started learning about acting, I just, when you start learning about anything, you realize whether or not you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I did-
explains so much. This answers so many questions. No, I'm just playing around.
Yeah. And I didn't like it. I started DJing parties on my own all around the city. Pasha.
Right off the bat?
14, yeah.
From the Sesame Street?
Yeah, dude.
To
I
the
went
deck?
from Sesame Street
Yeah.
to maybe like 8th grade or so, 9th grade. The first ever party I did was a warehouse show in Sunset Park before it gentrified and got all what it is now.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was like a 14-year-old kid kind of opening up the decks with go-go dancers in Brooklyn and Sunset Park.
Yeah.
That was my intro.
Did
So
you
what-
start DJing around the same time?
Around the same time, yeah.
Did you guys do parties together back then, or?
So basically, we met. We were introduced through a mutual friend who's still a very close friend of ours today, and we I was just starting to get into DJing. He was doing a little bit longer, and you were doing your own events.
Yep.
For kids our age.
Yep.
Already
and,
then?
And he actually gave me offered me one of my first opportunities to be an opener at one of his events.
Oh,
yeah.
sick.
Yeah, and then we sort of connected because we were both doing promoting and DJing for Pacha's under 18 parties, and then we kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were those under 18 parties like?
Oh, it was crazy.
My goodness,
Yeah.
man! Rest in peace to Pasha. That was an institution.
Yes.
I have yet to see a club like that kind of resurface into the New York City nightlife scene. The U18 parties were like exactly what the over 18 parties were, except with just underage kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Drugs, alcohol, all the best.
All in the pregame. They would not serve.
Yeah, I know. You sneak it in your stomach. I get
Yeah.
how.
I remember they had Alesso when he put out his Pressure remix.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I actually
same year.
opened for Martin Garrix at his first ever U.S. show, which was a Pacha U18 show in New York. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he was probably just 18 too at the time.
He was 17 and I was 16.
see,
Yeah.
But I just so much has changed, man. I remember back then it was all about kind of pushing hard tickets. You know, there really wasn't.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it still kind of is. But
But I mean, hard tickets.
but-
They literally gave us stacks of paper tickets. To be like, okay, go sell these and bring us cash.
There
Like,
was no Posh. There was no Dice.
Oh,
yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
there was hardly internet. What year was this? Like 2010?
Yeah,
2012, 2013.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Maybe a little earlier. What-
You started a bit earlier than me, but I got into it like 2012.
Yeah.
How did you guys get into doing the events at Pasha? Was it just because you guys were doing like underground parties?
I literally have no idea. I have no idea.
For me, it was like, okay, like I just started DJing. I saw they were booking big talent for kids my age, which is pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
And then I just, on a whim, messaged them on Facebook, like, hey, if you're looking for openers, come hire me.
Wasn't it that Boris guy?
Shout out Boris.
Shout out
and then
Boris.
They invited.
Hey, I know Boris.
Yeah.
Boris, I hope
The
you're watching, my man.
Yeah.
We love
and
you.
then so I got involved that way, and like of course when you're a no-name DJ, especially a kid, they're like, okay, we'll give you a slot based on how many tickets you sell. And then for the first event, got everyone to buy tickets. I sold 50 tickets, and they're like, great, you can DJ. And I'm like, great, where am I DJing? Oh, we'll give you a slot in the basement. I don't know if you've been to Pacha, but like the basement at Pacha was basically the bathroom, the coat check.
Now
it's like-
now very popular section in
Yeah.
most big
What's the
nightclubs.
club in Ibiza? With the club in the bathroom?
Hi.
Hi, yeah,
it's like
it's
the Pacha
like that, but
City
not quite
Ibiza.
as fun as that. But so I went to Boris and I was like, hey, like this was fun. Thank you for the opportunity. How do I take it to the next level? I want to play the main floor with the big DJs. And everyone was kind of like, oh, you're not going to do that. Those are all just like large promoter groups. And I was like, you know what? Watch me. Give me the tickets. I'll see what I can do. So I had a strategy because a lot of the kids going to Pacha, there were a lot of the kind of Jersey crowd and from out of the city. And I was like, okay, there's kind of avoiding the market for kids from Manhattan going to private schools. So, and when you grow up in Manhattan, everyone kind of knows everyone at all the different schools. It doesn't really matter what school you go to. Like Taylor and I went to different schools. We were still good friends. I hired a kid to sell tickets at each of the schools under my name. And sort of build a network like this.
Same
I
thing.
was,
Entrepreneur,
at the
baby.
time, I wasn't too concerned with money. I was like, okay, I want to open for Hardwell. Like I want to get this opportunity. So I let them keep the commission, and I used the commission I made on my tickets to give all the promoters a $10 bonus for every 10 tickets they sold. And then for the next one, I sold like 300 tickets, and I was able to play in the main room.
Right,
Yeah.
you know that meme where they're like this, and then the numbers are just flying past in the face.
Yeah.
What just happened to me is you explain that whole thing. But it sounds amazing, and I like the
Yeah,
hustle
like
girls.
we come from that hustle and bustle background. I think a lot of people in today's day and age, they're like kind of hesitant to like go down that route, but it's all the same conversation at any level, you know?
sure.
Like how many tickets can you push? Like
This
or,
way it's-
or like honestly, the bigger you get, the harder the conversation is because then there's an expectation. You know?
How did you guys first start DJing? Because back then, did you guys learn online? Did you have friends who had decks? Did you guys learn on Serato? Like, kind of what was the journey of becoming a DJ for you guys back then?
I started out on a $1,000 like all-in-one DJ controller. It was like a Newmark NS something, but it was like
remember with
it
the-
had its scratch platter.
Yeah, with the moving discs.
I know
Yeah.
exactly which one you're
Yeah.
talking
You know, it was
Yeah.
really cool. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's in storage somewhere, but I started
Yeah.
on that. I connected it to like my TV speakers, and I would just kind of like,
Jam
Yeah.
out.
you know,
Yeah, I bought a similar thing, like a cheap plastic Newmark thing, and then I remember I first really got into it because I was in Miami for spring break, and Ultra was happening at the same time, and this was 2012, and I only really knew like the big names like Avicii and Skrillex, and I was with my dad for spring break, and I was like, hey, my friends told me about this, I really want to go, and he's like, okay, he found us tickets, and he took me to Ultra when I was 15.
That's fire.
Yeah, and then I
Shout
was
out
like,
to Pops.
and I saw Avicii, and I was
Shout
like,
out.
I want to do that. And then one of the coolest moments of my career, 10 years to that day, the Saturday of Ultra in 2022, I played my first Ultra Miami.
Nice.
So
But you had
Full
already been
circle
playing
moment.
Ultra around the world at that point.
Yeah. I played
'Cause-
Ultra in Korea, Japan, Croatia. But Miami's the one. So that was a major, and I just loved how it worked out exactly 10 years the day I had gone to music, you know?
Can I tell a quick story about how you and I met?
Oh, yeah. I was wondering when we get to that.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So for a couple years, I was an adjunct professor at NYU Clive Davis. And my friend JD Sampson was a professor there, and she brought me in to do some mentorship program.
Remember this, yeah.
And so people would sign up to sit down with me and talk about anything, about their music, about this and that, whatever. So all sorts of different people had kind of signed up for stuff, most of whom are doing very cool stuff now. So it's kind of cool to see that. But I get one day a young Richard Weisenthal signing up, and I was like, oh, I don't know who this lad is. Let's see what he's got. So I start my session. I kind of begin how it normally starts. Like, are you from here originally? Where are you from? How'd you get into music? What are you doing? Are you singer, producer, songwriter? What do you got going on? He's like, He's like, I'm a DJ. I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, you play around? He's like, yeah. And I was like, did you want to talk about like your music or listen to any demos, final projects, anything like that? You're like, no, I already play like ultra festivals around the world. I just came to hang out and get to know you a little more. I was like, sweet.
No, I was a fan of your music too. I like, knew your
thanks,
records, so I was
man.
like, I thought I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Dope.
You know?
Yeah. No, I was honored to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And I was like, great, this is my favorite one. So
Yeah.
we ended up hanging
Awesome.
out and kind of kept in touch over the years
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah.
That was, gosh, what, like 2017, 18? What year did you
20
graduate?
2020, so like 2019 maybe, something like that.
Yeah,
it was just
2019.
before COVID, because I remember we kept doing Zoom calls during COVID
That's
too.
right. Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2019.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that kind of brings up an interesting piece. Like, how did you guys get into producing? Was it like a natural next step for you guys?
Yep, 100%. So, I mean, for me, I just, you watch like the Ultra live stream and you're like, wow, how did these guys like get from here to there? Like, what's the natural progression?
Yeah.
Realized all the guys at that time were producers. So, you know, saved up a bunch of money, bought my first copy of Ableton Live when I was like 14 or 15, and got my first plugin as well. It was Nexus 2.
Nice. Great plugin.
Classic.
I know, and a classic
the
like
times.
electro house EDM.
Yeah, dude, if you're coming from Avicii and Alesso world, Nexus
Yeah.
is the pinnacle of audio.
But I remember they had like the doggle thing, and it would always
Oh,
break.
yeah.
Oh, that was the worst.
Yeah.
I had to
iLock.
buy it
Oh my
40
God.
times. I kept losing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's like if you broke it or you lost it, you'd have to like buy it again.
Yeah.
You couldn't just buy the lock. You had to like
one
rebuy the
time, like
entire-
Refix like messaged me like they thought I was like running like a fraud operation because I bought it so many times. I just kept losing it.
But I just started making stuff on my laptop around the same time as I was getting into the music scene. You know.
For you, Richard.
Production was like kind of the same thing. Like I started as a DJ as well, and obviously like if to grow yourself as a DJ beyond just the local scene, you kind of have to put out music and build your brand globally that way. Yeah. But I've always like saw myself as a DJ first and a producer as well, and I love making music. But every time I'm in the studio, I'm making music with the mindset of a DJ. Like, okay, what records do I want to play in my sets? What records do I see other DJs playing? So I've always made music with me playing it out in mind.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think there's a clear definition too between that, like DJs who make stuff to play versus people who just produce music, you know?
Yeah.
I think times have changed. You know, it's like not now. I think it's cooler to be a DJ first and then a producer. You know,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
Yeah, well, there's, you know what it is? I think that just stems from like lack of DJ knowledge for people who are producers and then decide to use DJing as their platform to do like a performance type thing. And I think when you don't kind of come from the upbringing of DJing first and learning about working a room and the kind of rules of DJing and things like that, and then you get into production, you kind of have a better idea of where to take it than when if you're just like, cool, I'm producing pop songs, but I want to DJ. I'm a DJ now too, and I'm going to start doing that. And you don't know is when it starts to suck for most people.
I think
yeah.
that's one of the reasons why the EDM bubble bursted,
Yep.
because I think people got so sick of, you'd go to a show and it'd be the same people playing the same 10 songs and like no versatility, no live, performance elements to it, no highs, peaks, storytelling throughout it. And I think that was how many DJs got caught. Like there was like a blog, I forget, that tracked all the festivals and saw how each artist was playing the exact same set which artist played the exact same set at every festival, at every show, and which artist played the exact same set as other DJs. There was like a whole thing tracking towards the end of the EDM bubble.
I believe that. The EDM bubble was like the Dutch
Yeah.
the Dutch era.
Yeah. I don't know if you
Even though
guys.
they're still sick out there, and they're some of the best producers in the
Yeah.
world.
100%.
I don't know if you guys like saw the New York Times today. There was a new article that literally just came out today about how like dance music is back, but this time it's like different and it's much more focused on the vibes and the community and culture, and not just like a few DJs making six figures a show and putting out massive hit records.
You know what I think it
Yeah.
is? I think people's tastes are maturing and evolving, and because of that, like the people that got into EDM when the bubble happened are just, more into the underground stuff. That's what happens when you listen to a genre more and more. You go more into the weeds about what's there, and you grow to appreciate it.
I mean, I think over time, history has repeated itself that what is generally cool with the cool underground crowd will eventually surface its way.
100%.
And I think that's what's happening.
And you can
now
see
is-
that evolution with us. Like we came in here and we were talking about how we started listening to like Avicii and Swedish House Mafia and
Oh my
Hardwell,
God.
and then
Yeah.
but like
Do you remember-
we've grown with kind of like we're both relatively young in our late 20s, but we've sort of grown with the generations of how the tastes have evolved, and we try to see ourselves on like, okay, maybe we're a bit ahead and we can use our platform to educate the crowds on what's next.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing with DJing now is just people actually doing that, like wanting to educate the crowd with new music and like
100%.
not hearing the same songs over and over again. It's become much more dynamic sets that you'll hear
That's
between artists.
literally been one of our major objectives this year with those nights. It's to like go in, kind of give people something that they wouldn't normally get kind of in the city, something a little bit more underground, but playing it in a way where they're not going to be confused, you know?
Yeah.
That to me is real DJing. You go in, you give the people something that they can appreciate, but something they didn't know they wanted, right?
Something, right, they don't know they wanted it yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
I mean,
honestly...
they can't put their finger on it, but...
Yeah, and I think there's obviously dance music has grown to become so increasingly popular that now people are like, okay, like we know there's big artists and big songs out there, but now they're seeing the trends and like Tiki Disco, 718 sessions and all these things happening that are like, oh, okay, these are DJ collectives that are playing nothing you've ever heard before, but it's all going to be like such a tasteful vibe that like we have to go and appreciate it. And I think people are probably a little confused at first. I think about this a lot. I'm like, do they go to these things and are like, okay, like, hey, let's just have a good time? And are they like kind of forcefully like having to go in with a preconceived notion that they have to like whatever's, you know, presented to them?
I
like,
think there's some of that. I think there is some of that.
it's got to be a little bit of it,
Yeah.
you know? But I think a lot of people are like, hey, everybody's going, let's go have a good time. It's a place to be. Let me go experience this and see what
I think
it's
maybe
like.
too, it's more people just being down for the journey. You know what I mean?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, that would be most ideal is people just wanting to go and have a good time and dance, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, like I came up from dancing at clubs is like I went out and I danced real hard with my friends and we would have a great time and like that was like our whole slogan and we lived by that. And eventually I started DJing the club that I was dancing at all the time because the promoter was like, why don't you just DJ? You know everything we play. I'm like, I would love to try it one time. Finally got to do it. Been hooked ever since. But
Yeah.
that was a long time ago and it was a little different then, you know, but yes and no. I mean, trends will always be around and people always like popular music.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I've kind of noticed, and I don't know if you guys see this at those nights, is like one thing that I do see negative about the culture right now is definitely, everybody talks about this obviously, but like the phones. Cause like when I was coming up, you didn't have that on the dance floor, but you go to a major festival, you go to a major club, 90% of the time, everyone's looking for that Instagram moment. And I think it's taking people out of the moment of that night.
It was especially kind of prevalent, I think, at our last show at Arlo. Fully sold out. I mean, it was great. It was the same one that we booked you guys for last year at Arlo. The sunset,
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Picturesque, yeah.
great, but
Everybody
everyone's
wants
like,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you do a rooftop party for.
Yeah.
In the daytime.
we even had a few instances with like people on the stage like trying to get selfies with us while we're in the middle of our set.
Oh, yeah, we saw a funny video. I like put a
It's
polite
funny,
little
but it's
shove.
like super annoying. I mean,
yeah.
like,
Well,
Yeah. But I think it's like it's just how it's
It's-
evolved.
it's-
If someone's
it's part of it.
taking their phone out, that means they're experiencing a moment that they want to remember.
I just
you know? So there's
part of
something
me
to be said
wishes
about that.
people would just be like more in the moment.
is it though something that they want to remember? Or they're like, I should post this so that I have something to post because this is going to be good and this will get comments and likes and keep me in the
I think it's a
stream of things.
I think it's a balance. But I think if they feel that moment is going to give them that sort of power or clout or whatever, then they're obviously enjoying themselves. So it's still a good sign. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
But
think it evolves. Obviously, I prefer people be dancing, but how people express their joy is evolving. You know,
Dude, people will post the joys and the most garbage dinners that they make. You know, be like, here's cooking for my person tonight, and it'll just be like real. No, but it's like I'm saying if people are down to do that and post like the dumbest stuff on Instagram, not
Yeah.
even food, that's fine. Like I don't care about people. Like some people are really particular about food pics. But
Yeah.
like, you post everyday stuff. Like that's what social media was designed for. That's what Facebook was. in
I think it's what the
2002.
motivation was behind it. I think too, like what Richard said is actually a great point, is like it's a different way of people expressing how they want to remember something. You know what I mean? Now we have a device to remember it. And I think you can get some people who are genuinely there like, all right, cool, I want to get this because I want to remember it. Then I think you also get some people who are just kind of chasing that clout, I guess, in a way. But I wish that we could have people more in the moment because I do miss the dance clubs in like the electro era when no one would give a fuck. There were no phones out. No one was afraid of looking stupid or acting stupid. The photos that we have there, we're looking wrecked, fucking disheveled, you know what I mean? And, you know, those moments, because you didn't think about it. It didn't matter. You were just like in that moment, you know?
I think though, honestly, enough DJs complain about this all day long on the internet that the message is getting out and people are trying to live in the moment a little more, but there are some things that are just designed for social media, like
A rooftop.
like the videos.
or like
rooftop.
like an
No,
sunset
but like the
rooftop.
videos of the people breaking through the screen
Like
and all those
Afterlife,
dramatic
yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
afterlife, and
Yeah.
even like kind of music with like the cloud. People want to be there and be like, I'm here. I'm getting like those videos of them just DJing with like the crowd, like dead silent.
I think it just comes to like to your point how things have changed. You know, I feel like, mind you, I came up a little bit later, but from what I've seen in my time and from what I know, like DJing like a decade or so back was more about just having fun and dancing. Like now it's a little bit more of like there's a performance element to it. You know?
It depends on the party, but yeah. If
I think the DJ culture has changed a lot because like when I came up, and I'm sure when you came up, it like DJ culture wasn't as much of a thing. And now you have a place where everybody wants to be a DJ. Everybody wants to be on stage. Everybody wants to be seen in some sort of way. So I think that has kind of changed the culture elements of it.
Let me just clarify what I was saying. I meant more of like big production, like Tale of Us shows, stuff like that, where it's like, you know, that's all a performance.
I saw a funny post today from like a social media influencer that I don't believe is a DJ, but they were posting like very opinionated things about like tying in like fashion sense as a DJ to like make your brand stick out. And I'm like, I don't know. Like it kind of was never really about that, and it shouldn't really be about that, but about
Black,
the music.
baby. I'm the only
black.
one missing right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'm an outsider.
yeah. To that point, I just think it's just the state of the market. Like, yeah, I was never about that before, but there's so many DJs right now. You're saying,
How do you stick out?
Everyone's
right?
be a DJ. So like, how do you stick out? And there's a few things you can do. You have different visuals. You have a cool fashion sense, or like you have really, really good stage presence. Like look at like someone like Patrick Mason or something, and then you immediately remember like one of his sets because he's like jumping around, like hanging from the rafters while he's DJing. Like it's
Memorable moments.
Some
Anything but the music.
some people see it as gimmicky, but like, oh, if the music stands for itself, it's like another level to like stand out. And
Yeah.
And what else do you do in this market when there's so much saturation?
Thing is, if you're like hanging from the rafters, then you got to do it every show, and if you don't do it, people are gonna get bummed out, and they
True,
don't get
yeah.
what they're paying for. That's
No,
the only bummer
yeah,
about
yeah,
having a trick
yeah.
like that, you know?
Yeah, like I remember one time I was at a festival in Korea, and one of the DJs playing was like a DJ kind of associated with like an emo in the afterlife world, and I think because of his records, everyone was expecting the afterlife level visuals, and there was not those visuals at all, and the crowd was really disappointed.
And then when you just
Yeah.
get the music without the visual after hearing them together so long, you know, it's kind of like, it's a little lackluster. It kind of kills the genre, maybe even. Just a question I'm putting out there and not stating that as a fact.
But look, I think for us with those nights, we're trying to make a real point to just stick to the music and stick to the community and just
Yeah, what do you...
How would you
hammer that?
describe the music that you guys play at those nights?
I describe it as like taking the sound of classic New York house coming from the 90s into now and combining that with the sounds of the moment, whether that's like the indie dance stuff that's coming up right now, or even we'll book a DJ that's a bit more on the Afro side. It's just like combining like the New York identity with what is with what's working right now in clubs throughout the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, that's part of like the education of it all that you brought up.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
we're bringing new things to the New York crowd, and then when we go to other cities, we're bringing the New York experience to that crowd as well.
Yeah. And we're doing this in like a really approachable way where anyone can kind of appreciate it.
Yeah.
How would you guys, like for other people who would want to be where you guys are, kind of like throwing your own parties, DJing, releasing music, like how do you think people can get in it? Like what advice would you give them?
Hit us up.
Hit us up.
Connect. Yeah.
What's good?
Yeah. No.
Bottom of the screen.
No. I mean,
I think look, like
Yeah.
I think thing number one, you really have to ask yourself if you want this. Like, is it a hobby, or is this like something you want to build your entire life around? Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hustle and bustle. It's not easy to do. I think a lot of people kind of overlook how hard it is to like break in.
Yeah. Yeah. And the main thing is like Daniel said it many times, like building community. And if you can't build a community, like before you started those nights, you were going out and meeting all these promoters and making connections. That's why I'm saying like hit us up. Like you have to get if you want to like have
be
a
present.
place in the scene, like you have to like be present and be a part of this
I think
scene.
that's
I was
the
gonna
best,
say,
best
yeah.
advice.
The checklist for getting on any party: show up to the party first and go a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Meet the guys throwing it, and then send them a mix, maybe some of your originals,
That's right.
and how many RCPs you
Yeah.
can bring. And then-
Or even like show like, oh yeah, look, I brought a bunch of people to the party just to come hang out.
Yeah,
and like, oh,
exactly.
yeah,
And
like support.
I think loving what you do really shows. Like people can see it.
Yeah, facts.
People really can see it. They could see if it's just a hobby or is it more than that.
The passion.
They could see the
comes through.
passion.
Yeah.
So showing up and being really passionate and going for it,
Yeah.
I think.
Or like it's all about like you providing value in some way, whether that's your community, whether you bring a bunch of people, or whether like let's say, oh, you can bring on this really cool artist and you have a connection with, or you work with another venue and you want to like swap and trade like events and like, oh, we'll play for you here and we'll get your event here, you know?
Do you guys ever like scout talent on your own that you want for your parties, or is it mostly people coming to you?
Oh yeah, yeah. If we see someone's like popping off and has a community and bringing people out, like and their sound most importantly fits our vibe, then we'll pursue them. But we do get a lot of inbound, and we like to give chances to new and up and coming talent as well.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is just like be mindful of who you're approaching. So this is less of a those nights thing and more of like an anyone kind of thing. If it's an Afro House party and you're not an Afro House DJ, don't hit up the Afro House party. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that goes.
I hear it everywhere
as well.
And that
how many people will send a demo link to a label that doesn't fit them at all? You
know, know what you are. Like, don't just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. You know,
Totally.
Maybe when you're finding there's different applications to that. But when it comes to reaching out to people to see where you want to play, like, be really mindful. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Yeah, it's hard. I think like talking to promoters is not an easy step for a lot of
Definitely
people, and I think like some promoters do different types of events too. So like it's hard to kind of make that connection initially too. It's like you go to a really big event, it's almost impossible to meet the promoter. So it's like,
Yeah.
you kind of got to build it up.
Oh my God. But being present, that's such a big thing, right? We get so many people hitting us up. They've never been to our parties. They're like, hey, I want to play. We don't know who they are. We've never met them. They've never shown up.
Well, maybe a positive of social media, they could show up at the party, go ahead and do a little video.
Yeah.
You guys be like, yo, those nights kind of lit right now.
Then they're not living in the moment, and that goes against the core of the party. See, we got some problems here. It's kind of a tough
there's a balance.
dichotomy.
There's a
Yeah,
balance.
pick your battles, Yeah.
Woo! So, choose wisely when you're going to bust out that phone, I guess. I think there's moments, and it's okay to grab moments of events and dance events and stuff like that, but
100%.
it's just not, you don't have to grab every moment.
Yep.
you know?
Of course, yeah. And also, like, coming from a business standpoint, as someone throwing events, like, someone has their phone out taking a video, that your brain is reaching new people, so you can't be mad at that.
That's what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard. Doesn't really bother me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say when people do it.
I mean, a lot of
Except
people got videos of
when
you
they're like
playing.
right in front of the booth and they're just filming you like
Oh
a
my
foot
God.
away.
Or if they're
I'm
like,
I don't need this close
or
up.
if they're like behind you and they're like,
Yeah. Go to the back of the room and get everybody in front of you. Make me like this big in the middle of the screen. That's what I'm talking
nah,
about.
but I'm just teasing. Part of me is teasing at least.
So we're gonna be running out of time shortly. So let's just kind of dive into what's next for you guys. Individual releases, music. You guys said you're launching a label soon, and
Yes.
some future events maybe that you want to mention, even though we're kind of not certain of the release date of this podcast.
100%. So we're getting ready to launch a record label. It's going to be an extension of the sound that we mentioned earlier, taking the kind of classic New York house sound, putting a modern twist on it.
Same
our
name?
Own, our own
Those Nights.
interpretation. We're keeping the Those Nights name across it all. That's
Those
most
Nights
immediately.
Records.
Just
Those
Those
Nights.
Nights.
Those
Just
Nights. Okay,
no
cool.
records.
Just
Just
wanted
Those
to double
Nights.
check.
That's next for us. Most immediately. Secondary to that, we're gearing up to throw a bunch of parties outside of New York City for the first time in our history.
Yeah, you said you guys are doing Miami, right?
We
Where's
have
that
our,
going to be at?
we have our next show at Zay
Oh, cool.
out in Miami.
I just played down there during Miami Music Week.
Right on.
It's a dope spot.
Yeah, we hear it's an amazing spot. We're really excited to kind of engage and bring out our Miami community.
Are you
for
going
that
through
one.
Lucina?
Yeah.
Nice.
Lucina and Anthony as well.
Cool.
And yeah, shout out to Zay. We're really looking forward to it. We don't know when this interview is going to get aired, but shout out Zay.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I sort of came on board to sort of like, I've been touring around the world, as you said, for a couple of years now. And I've built a lot of relationships with the promoters, and they've seen what we're doing, and we're excited. They're excited about bringing this to new markets, even outside the U.S. and beyond.
I was going to say, you have a pretty big following in Southeast Asia, right? Through Ultra and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Sick.
Asia is very, very high on our list, and it's going to happen sooner
Yeah.
rather than later.
So that
Hell yeah.
we have the outside of the city shows, but we're also thinking internationally
Yeah.
as well for this year. So rapid kind of expansion outside of the city is high up on our bucket list, and we're actioning it right now, launching the record label. And
When does the record label actually start?
It'll be up in the next few months. We're just getting through the branding side and everything.
Cool.
But we have a partner on board for distribution.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, and we're looking to like bring on also use it as a platform for our own music, but also look at new talent as well, and even some names you might recognize.
just kind of like give a platform for the music that we believe in. You know, we're launching this label in part because we have our own sound, we have our own identity, and we don't want to be restricted by the sounds of other people's labels. And that's no disrespect to the other labels, but I think everybody has their own vision for their labels. And if you want to do your own thing, there's, in this day and age, nothing stopping you from going out and doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
I think things are definitely changing in that world, and it's definitely, I don't want to say easier, but it's definitely more manageable to self-release stuff now than it was
100%.
before,
It's less restricting, you know?
Yeah.
And you guys know this. You go to a cool label, that has a lot in the pipeline, maybe they sign it, but it doesn't come out for another half a year.
Yeah. Or maybe it doesn't get promoted.
Or it doesn't get shelved, or it doesn't get promoted, or they just don't take it seriously. Just have so much more control.
Destiny.
100%. More go-getters, so here we are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you guys check out the DJ set, which these guys are going to go ahead and do in just a minute here. That link will be listed below in the description. I want to give a quick shout out to Sound Collective for letting us film here. Come check out Sound Collective in New York City. Membership, short-term programs online. You guys can check it all out, soundcollective.com.
That's right. Big thank you to our guests those nights.
Thank you
Eric
guys.
Carter and Daniel Lerman.
Make sure you guys check out the listing below with the DJ link. I'm Rich Furniss.
And I'm Lefty. Thanks for watching. Peace.